Hello YouTube, and today I'm going to be reviewing the ferroconcepts dope and also comparing it to the haleystrategic micro chest rig. A couple factors I'm going to compare here are the thickness or size of each placard, the price, the modularity, the design, some cons here and there, and my overall end result, and which one would I personally prefer over the two placards here. So first things first is the size of this. So the size of the placard is significantly smaller than, say, the Haley rig. I mean, it's a pretty noticeable difference if you're comparing the two, just looking here. Granted, I do have some Kydex inserts in the Haley one, so it is going to be a little bit thicker. But even then, it's a pretty noticeable difference by about 3 or 4 inches. That could be a pretty big deal, especially if you're doing things like going prone or lying on the ground or sniping or doing anything that requires concealability. Maybe you're wearing this under a jacket, things like that. Granted though, the Haley rig does offer more storage space, at least right out of the gate. This one, if you want to get more storage space, you do have to purchase another pouch that goes on the front, and then that is going to give it about the same amount of girth as the Haley rig, though the pouch only lasts about the size of the Velcro. Well, this one is the entire placard itself. Another key point to highlight is the price of these two items here. So the price of the dope is about the same, if not a little bit more expensive, if you want to get pretty much all the same modularity as this one. This one right here for the pouch, or the placard itself, and the 556 insert, it's around 190 to 200 depending on shipping and taxes and where you're at. This one, the pouch itself with the little divider inside, that is about 85. The inserts that I have is another 30. This is about another 25, 30. So it runs around the same amount after shipping and taxes and all that kind of stuff. Now, the modularity, it's pretty modular, at least with ferroconcepts products. If you're trying to run like Haley products, maybe the Haley 556 insert, or you're trying to run Spirit Systems, other stuff like that, they're not going to be compatible with this, just the way the Velcro is built up. So this one has hook Velcro on the front right here, and then it has loop Velcro on the back over here with the divider changing how each of the inserts are. So the divider is going to be hook Velcro and then loop Velcro on the front. So if you're trying to run, say, the Haley 556 inserts, it's not going to work unless you either sacrifice some portions of your pouch or modify the actual webbing itself, which is a huge con if you want to have other products. You don't want to have to go immediately modifying your new expensive piece of gear just so you can get some pouch to fit. So that is a huge negative con, and I think ferroconcepts is more so running the proprietary route of things and just making their own products, which I have noticed a couple other companies doing that. It's unfortunate how it is, but that's kind of what you have to pay for when you want to get some relatively decent stuff. Then with the design, the material is a pretty thick material. If you're planning on using it for, say, airsoft or real steel purposes or whatever you're doing, it's pretty thick. This feels a little more rigid than my Haley rig, but then again, my Haley rig is a lot older. But in the actual material itself is pretty comparable to the Haley rig as well. Pretty hard fabric out in the front. You've got Velcro. A giant piece of Velcro out in the front compared to the Haley rig. The Velcro is a lot smaller, so you're only able to run a couple pouches here. And the thing about this, it also has some little holes here. So if you want to run, say, like an admin pouch on front here, you can. Again, it requires the proprietary ferroconcepts pouch, but that is an option nonetheless. So with the pouches that I have on here, I wanted to get the Kydex ones, but they're out of stock literally everywhere on their website. So I went around with the bungee cords until I was able to get some Kydex ones. But I have the little pouch here. I believe the pouches are pretty similar. I got the small one just because I wanted to run some pistol pouches on here. But anyways, the little tabs here, these are actually kind of nice. These are nice and bungee. I like them a lot, especially because when you go to move them, they spring right back up. And they also have these nice loops on here, so when you're running around with them, it makes it easier to move back and forth. While the Haley rig, they use, I believe this is 550 cord, or maybe something a little bit smaller. They don't spring nearly as, they don't spring around, they just kind of sit there. They're pretty durable nonetheless, same thing with these. Moving on to the pouches here. So again, I really wish I had the Kydex inserts. If I get some later in the future, I can do maybe another review on that, but for now, you do have to insert these bungees in yourself. It's not terribly difficult. There aren't any instructions on there, but it's not terribly difficult to figure out. You just gotta wrap them through and then eventually stuff them down here, and then eventually they'll work. The tabs on here, these are also kind of like made of a silicone material. They're very flexible, so you don't have to worry about them accidentally breaking or chipping. They're always gonna be very malleable no matter what direction you pull them in. They hold the magazines in pretty good. Again, this kind of material does hold stuff a lot better than Kydex, but you can tell that they're not going anywhere. I could maybe foresee an issue where they slip over to the side and become loose, and then maybe your pouches or magazines might slip out. And I also, without the actual tabs on themselves, the magazines I find to be very slippery and easily removable. So if you don't want to run these, you might run into issues in the future if you're running around, or say you're running around or jumping or whatever. Now, comparing to the micro chest rig, again, this one is significantly slimmer. They both offer around the same amount of storability. Obviously, you can hold 3 5.56 magazines. If you want to, you can run 2 pistol pouches here. Well, this one offers pistol pouches. I don't necessarily like the pistol pouches on the side for the Haley rig, unless you're running like maybe a multi-tool or a knife on the side, it's gonna hold them in. But I found that actual magazines, both airsoft and real steel, will actually slip out and fall. Even with this bungee tab on there, they still fall out pretty easily, which is unfortunate. However, with this one, with the pistol pouches being on the front, they're less likely to fall out, especially with the retention system that the ferroconcepts offers as well. So that is something to think about. And also, the pistol pouches, you can move them wherever you want. You can move them from here to here. Maybe you want to move this over here. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Well, these, you're kind of stuck to having a pistol pouch or a tool pouch on each side, which can be problematic. Another thing between these two guys is the Velcro. So the Velcro on the back of the Dope is significantly larger than the Haley rig. They're both about the same from here, from the width-wise, but up and down, this is a little bit more. So you'll notice that where the clips are, these guys don't have any Velcro here, while these do. So if you have a Velcro system that runs a little higher up, that can be a huge plus with the ferroconcepts rig. Now with the cons of each of these rigs, or mainly just the Dope. Biggest con that I have with these is the clip system, both in the side, the lack of side clips and the top clips that they often offer here. So with the side clips, something that I've ran into with the Haley rig, and I do foresee this in the future, is once you wear your plate carrier down quite a bit and your Velcro, your hook Velcro starts to wear down, your rig is gonna flop quite a bit. Now granted, this could be because this thing does have more material on it, but when I'm running around, I find it to flop up and down. It doesn't come off to where it completely rips up, and a way that I solve this is, since there are clips on the side made for a chest rig, I got these little clips on Amazon. You can buy them for like a pack of 5 for 10 bucks, not a huge deal. And I just clip them into the side, and now that floppiness now goes away. With the ferroconcepts Dope, there are no side clips, and there's no way to insert side clips as well. You see this little port and you're like, oh, you can just run it through there, but it's actually not possible. At least with the kind of clips that I have here. Maybe if you run some 550 cord and you do some jerry rigging here and there, but it's really annoying that you have to jerry rig, you know, a nice piece of kit for it to work. You also cannot run this as a chest rig either. Because of those lack of side clips, there's no way for your harness to hook into this. If you're trying to run this as a slim rig, it's simply not possible unless you either cut into the material itself, you remove some of the webbing, or you jerry rig it a little bit more, which is, again, it's not a route that you want to go. Also, with the clips here, they run their own proprietary metal clips, which is a huge downside if you want to do any quick swapping between rigs. With the Haley rig that I have here, they have these little clips right here, and you can just run these guys into your plate carrier, and you want to take it off, you just undo it, and boom, it's right off, no big deal. While these guys, you can't do that. You have to individually weave each of these guys through. You have to weave them through the actual rig itself, which is very annoying. It's not that it's difficult to do, it's just the fact that ferroconcepts is going out of their way to make something less modular and more proprietary, so you have to buy their own stuff. And even if you were to So you're like, oh, you can just remove these clips and replace them with something else. It's annoying that you're having to essentially break and tear and remove stuff in order for it to work when you're already paying, you know, almost $200 for a placard. While the Haley rig right out of the box, it's already ready to go onto, say, a Haley rig or a chest rig or whatever. And when you do order the chest rig or the Haley rig, it already comes with a harness for it to insert into. Well, this one does not. It only comes with what you order, which is very irritating. At the end of the day, though, both options, I mean, you can't really go wrong with either. It really depends on what kind of loadout you want to go with. Personally, I would definitely choose the haleystrategic rig over the ferroconcepts dope, mainly just because of those modularity of things that I mentioned. They don't run 100% proprietary hook and loop Velcro. You can connect this to any rig depending on, it doesn't matter what kind of clips you have. Like these are clips that I bought off of Amazon and they work just fine. While these, you have to use their clips. You can't run this as a chest rig, which is kind of what I was intending to do. I really wanted to run this on my plate carrier and then run this as a chest rig, but it looks like that's not going to happen anymore. Now, granted, if they had the hooks on the side and they didn't run the proprietary stuff, yeah, I'd actually be recommending this thing over this thing just because of the size. But again, it really depends on what you want to do. If you don't mind sacrificing the side clips or the proprietariness, that's on you. But again, at the end of the day, I'm going to be choosing my Haley rig much more over my ferroconcepts rig. So anyways, thank you for watching this video. Give it a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys later. Take care.